Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Features Showcase. In each episode we discuss a DaDaBIK feature, in particular features released with the last two versions, DaDaBIK 10 and DaDaBIK 11. Today we are going to talk about actually a very old feature, files upload. Very old because we introduced this feature in 2002, so long time ago. However, with version 11 Elba, the one released last summer, we have a new AJAX file upload component, and so I think it's a good time to talk about how this feature works in general. Because I receive questions quite often about it, such as how does it work, where the files are stored, and so on and so forth. So just to summarize, the improvements of this new component, uploads are now executed asynchronously before submitting the form, which is very different respect to how DaDaBIK worked before version 11. We show a progress bar during the upload process, and the whole process is much more user-friendly, especially for big files. You can still, using a config parameter, choose the old method, but the new one is the default one now. So let's see how files upload works in general, and then we will see this new component. First of all, when do you need it? So basically the idea is to attach to a record one or more files. So for example, you have a table products having some fields, name of the product, description, price, and others. And you also have a field containing a picture of the product, a picture that can be uploaded through a form. Okay? That's an example where you definitely need the file upload component. So, how about this field? For example, here we have a picture field. How we should define this field in our database and as a field type, and which field type we have to use in DaDaBIK. So let's see first our database. We can see it bought from the data page of the admin section. So here, picture, we can see that it's a varchar, basically, field. If you want, I can show you the same thing in PHP MyAdmin. Picture product varchar. Okay. So why varchar? Because basically DaDaBIK stores in the database only the file name, while the file itself is stored in the file system in a specific folder you can specify. Okay. Let's see now the form configurator part. Products, picture product. The field type is image file. We have two file field types, image file and generic file. I'll explain later the difference. For the moment, well, that's a picture of the product, so image file is the correct one. Okay, so let's go back here and let's try to add a new product. Okay, let's add DaDaBIK as a product. I choose just a random brand, picture, logo DaDaBIK. As you can see, the file has been uploaded already, but the record is not saved yet. price 198, and then quantity 20, computer, and yeah. All right, and as you can see, we have uploaded the DaDaBIK logo here. Let's see what is happening in our database. I want to check from here because I want to show you exactly what is happening behind the scenes. As you can see, in picture product, DaDaBIK stored a file name, which is not exactly the file name we had originally, which was logo DaDaBIK 7.png, but there is this additional number, and basically this is to make the file name unique. Since all the files are in the same folder, in order to make the file name unique, this particular string is added automatically to each file name. While the file itself is stored in the uploads folder by default. In the uploads folder, you have in your in the main directory where your DaDaBIK application is running. Let's see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the uploads folder, and here you can see our file together with other files that were already uploaded. And that's how things work by default. However, it's not a very good idea to store your files in the default uploads folder, because this folder technically is accessible from the web, so it's not very secure. By default, it contains an AJAX file that, if you are using Apache, should prevent users to reach the files you store there directly using the URL of the files. However, if you are using other web servers, this basically doesn't work, and is much more secure if you store your files in a different directory that is not accessible at all from the web. So basically, a folder that is above your web root. Okay, and how can you specify that? Well, now we will go through all the parameters that are related to files upload, including the one that allows you to specify this uploads directory. Well, first of all, you have to enable file uploads. So here, this parameter should be set to 1. You have to choose the classic approach or the AJAX approach. Again, the AJAX approach is now the default one. And here you have, as you can see, upload directory that by default is empty. And if it is empty, the upload still works as you saw before, and all the files are stored in this uploads directory that you have inside your main directory. However, as I said before, it is better to specify, and there is a documentation, there is a chapter in the documentation that explain all the security issues related to files upload. So you should specify here with an absolute path the directory where you want to store the files. Again, a directory that should be above your root, your web root. Then you can specify max upload file size here in bytes. You can specify the allowed file extensions. So by default you have a bunch of extensions, but you can specify more extensions. You can remove some of the extensions here, and for each one you have to specify, if you add new ones, you have to specify the related MIME type that basically allows your browsers to manage correctly the file when the user click on the link related to that file. Maybe it's important to point out here that when you allow some extensions, DaDaBIK just checks the file name. So if you allow the JPEG extension, JPG, DaDaBIK checks if the file name ends with this extension, so that's all right, but it doesn't check if the file is actually a JPEG file. Okay, that's maybe that's something important to point out. You can also you can also allow all files if you want. And finally here you can specify well, let's see the default settings, which are 0000, and here we are setting the maximum width and height of the pictures in the results grid and in the details page. If I leave 0, what is happening here is that, let me go back, I see the picture in its original size. But you know, since sometimes maybe pictures are bigger than you want, you can give some limits. Let's go back to our parameters here. Oh no, that's it here, and I just want to show you the difference between image file and generic file. Okay, generic file works exactly in the same way, but so you can still upload a file and the process is exactly the same, but instead of showing a picture, that's a generic file that the user is supposed to download, or well, to click on, basically. So you see you know, a generic icon for the attachment, but here and here, okay, and also in the edit form here you can also see the file name, and if the user clicks on the attachment icon, well, it's a normal file download, or if the browser can handle that file in some way, some action will be taken. Okay. Well, in this case, the picture is showed in a new tab, but for example, if you had a zip file, the browser will download it probably. Okay. All right. So I think that's it for this episode. I think this is the last episode of 2021. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you in January. Well, as you know, typically I publish one episode every 2 weeks, but since we have some holidays, probably the next episode will be in 3 weeks, and I think it will be about importing Excel and CSV files in your DaDaBIK application and synchronizing the content of an Excel or CSV file with a table of your DaDaBIK application. Maybe we need 2 episodes because that's a lot of things to say, but we will see. Okay, so see you next time. Ciao.